Alright, Motherlickers, we're back on SFO Grimhammer, and the High Elves have a bit of a Slaaneshi invasion on their hands. Playing against Aristocratic again, the only way we can save our souls from the Dark Prince is to kill every single one of the freaks on the other side of the field. Definitely have the tools to do it, Tyrion, Swordmasters, and a Star Dragon, but things can get challenging against the Warriors of Chaos in SFO. They are really strong in this mod, and they're dressed in pink and periwinkle armor, so they're almost too pretty to hit, until they start trying to play Big Spoon, Little Spoon. Then things just get weird. Mirror Guard, Chaos Knights, and Chosen with the Mark of Slaanesh will be leading the Vanguard alongside stupid, sexy Sigvald. So hot right now. Sigvald. Dude is a monster in this mod. Honestly, might be one of the best lord choices in the game. So the question is, can we stop him? Do the High Elves have what it takes to bring down Draco Malfoy, the succulent scion of Slytherin? We will find out soon enough. That's why we play the battles. Let's get into it. So Tyrion's a crazy good duelist in Grimhammer, but the Curse of Anarion flows through his veins, and you can give into that rage, giving him Unbreakable, Perfect Vigor, and a huge boost to damage, while sacrificing melee defense. I was under the impression if you chose to activate that, it would last for the entire game, and in that case I'd say it's generally not worth it because you lose so much in survivability, but that might have gotten changed because it says 60-second cooldown on the unit card itself, so I'll have to check that later on. Got a Light Mage with Net, Time Warp, and Faw's Protection. Some really good buffs there. Really like how impactful the spells are in SFO. 50% speed boost is crazy good on Barona's Time Warp. And just behind them are the Everqueen's Court Guard, a gift from Milady. Tips Fedora. She's McQueen. I think I need to do an Ilarial replay where all I do is just make Jon Snow and Dany memes the entire replay. I think that would be pretty good. And the Sisters of Avalorn in this mod are very strong from long range, as you'd expect, a lot of AP, and that banished contact effect as well. On the flanks, 2 Tyrion Chariots, good for skirmishing and getting stuck in with those scything blades, gladiator style. And there's also a Star Dragon on the other flank, which is, of course, the Apex Predator in all of Warhammer. Armor Sundering, 650 weapon strength, 30% physical resist, brutal breath attacks that work against single entities and large units, and just in general, it's a beast. But on the flip side is Sigvald the Magnificent with that perfectly chiseled ass and Fabio hair. Who can resist him? 130 armor, gold shield, a charmed contact effect that lowers enemy melee attack, huge weapon strength of like 560, and some new abilities as well. Makes him pretty godlike. Visions of Pleasure, AoE debuff, and this douche even has a net. Reflection of Beauty, minus 100% melee attack, and pins a single target in place. Honestly, I think that should only work on heroes or lords when they're in melee range. Being able to pin any unit from 50 meters away doesn't really make sense with the fluff or who Sigvald is, but that's what he's working with right now, so that's what we gotta deal with. He's also got a front line of Chaos Marauders with some Marauder Horsemaster jabs, and Chosen great weapons with the Mark of Slaanesh. Grants additional AP and Perfect Vigor at the cost of armor. On the other flank here, Gorby's Chariot, stomping around like Donkey Kong. Thing is going to be really hard to shut down. Very powerful, it's a workhorse, can run through infantry like nobody's business. And on the other flank, Mirror Guard and Chaos Knights, looking super sexual, oozing sexuality. They're going to be some of the strongest units on the field. And Chaos Knights have a bonus for Slorge and AP in SFO Grimhammer, so hands down one of the strongest cav units in the game as well. Chaos Sorcerer with Occam's Mind Razor, Enfeebling Foe, and Miasma. And in the back, the Summoners of Rage Dragon Ogres, who are kind of ugly. Don't usually expect to see them alongside a Slaaneshi army, but we'll take what comes. And as we start this game, there's a very important question to ask. How do the High Elves stop this mindless violence? How do we stop the hordes of Slaanesh who are coming for our booties? Well, there are a couple ways to do it. One, the Tyrion Chariots are going to play a very important role this battle. They've got like 150 range damage, which is pretty good. Right now, not firing into any incredibly important targets, but getting rid of the Marauders is honestly still kind of a big deal, right? You need to make sure the meat shields are gone so you can get into the squishy stuff behind. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of squishy stuff on the field when you're talking about Chaos, but getting some shots into those Chosen will be pretty good, as well as those Marauder Horsemasters. So, then of Amantok will go down, and the Sisters of Avalor and the Everqueen's Court Guards will get some really good banished contact effect going their way. So a lot of AP, a lot of missile fire coming in, and Marauder Horsemasters should not be able to weather that storm particularly well. Not a very tanky unit, and even if they were, If they don't have a missile block chance, Sisters are gonna rip them up. They have too much AP for you to deal with, and so they're gonna lose most of that unit right off that net. But look at that perfectly chiseled Gluteus Maximus entering the fray. Sliver slash, slicing this way and that. The Vorpal Blade went snicker snack, left them dead, and with their head, Sigvald came galumping back. Miasma to go down on the Azure Spearmen. Marauders gonna crash into the front ranks, and we're gonna have a fight on our hands brewing there. Tyrion Chariot's gonna try to tie down those Gorby's Chariots. That should be an interesting fight. You don't see chariot fights all day, but it looks like White Lions and High Elf Spearmen moving out to that flank, and Sisters of Avalorn getting some good shots into the center of the Chaos line. So far, not too much pressure put on the back line of the High Elves, which is important because they're going to want to be firing for the majority of the game if they can. Really nice move from Aerocrastic here. So what you're going to see there is he's pulling back his Marauders, so he's not taking a fight he knows he's going to lose, and forcing those Swordmasters into an awkward position. And with Enfeebling Foe going down and some debuffs going down on the High Elf line as well, now his Shaggoths, or his Dragon Ogres rather, the Summoners of Rage can charge in, and with the support from the Chaos Knights, that could suddenly be a very tough go for the Swordmasters of Hoeth. It's a pro move right there. It's a really good idea. You should try incorporating that into your game if you can. Don't just feed meat shields to the enemy if you can avoid it. Force their elite troops into a weird position, and you can overwhelm them that way. So we'll see how that goes. Chosen with great weapons, the Slaaneshi ones moving out on the Chaos left flank, going into some Azure Spearmen, and it is just bananas right now. But the Star Dragon about to unleash that laser breath. Strawberry Milkshake going the way of the Slaaneshi March Chosen, and they are going to melt in Dragonfire. Beautiful shot. Not a perfect one. Normally you want to make sure that the infantry unit is pinned in place, so might have done that a little bit too early, but still gonna kill 4 of their number and do a ton of HP damage to a very expensive and important unit. So certainly not bad. Sisters firing into the flank of those Chaos Warhounds who got super blobbed up around the Light Mage, who kind of sacrificed herself to make sure that they did not get into the Archer. Star Dragon will hopefully terror out them off soon, and those Swordmasters are getting beaten to hell right now. Sigvald's in there taking a lot of damage from Tyrion in that duel, but he has regen. He's got that auric armor, a lot of replenishment going his way, and remember that there's no real healing cap in SFO unless you use the sub-mod, so if you don't kill Sigvald, he's gonna get back up to full at some point. Chaos Knights charging into the back of the Pure Main Company, and that is a brutal engagement for the High Elves. Not gonna go their way. Pure Main Company and Azure Spearmen, no way they're gonna be Chosen with great weapons, and Chaos Knights with a rear charge there. They will need more help, maybe from the Star Dragon, and thankfully, that's where that mobility comes in. Terror route or charge from behind would be super useful, but I think Slaaneshi ones also get immune to Psych too. Beautiful Sunfang ripping through the flank of those Marauders and deleting that unit, and that should free up the Azure Spearmen as the Dragon Ogres move forward, and looks like the Swordmasters are going to be completely overrun and will break. So that was a big swing there in and of itself. Man, that Sunfang was so good. But watching those Swordmasters get pulled out of position, that was a thing of beauty. Beautifully done. And Aerocrastic will get rid of one of the most important High Elf units on the field. So the Tyrion Chariot still being annoying in the rear. One of them on the left flank for the High Elves has been kind of beaten up by those Marauder Horsemasters. The Javs do have bonus versus large in SFO Grimhammer. And yeah, with the Gorby's Chariot in there now, this whole side not going to go the way of the Azure. But Tyrion could hunt down Sigvald, and in a 1v1 duel, he can make good account of himself there for sure. Really nice charge up the center from the Gorby Chariot, going right through that Phalanx of Spearmen, and Star Dragon just tied down, trying to get rid of everything that's inundating the Sisters of Avalorn, trying to free them. Once they're free, they can shoot in, maybe take out those Chaos Knights or some of the more high-value targets. Tyrion will be looking for those Gorby's Chariots. Do not want them rampaging in your archers for free. They're causing a lot of havoc right now. There's no question about that. But Star Dragon and Tyrion could definitely goon up on them and lay down the gauntlet on those Chaos Gorillas. Speaking of Chaos monstrosities, those Summoners of Rage have been a thorn in my side the entire battle. White Lions, maybe feeding more funds into a fight they really don't have a chance of winning, but they didn't really have much, they didn't really have anywhere to go, to be honest. They kind of had to get stuck in and hold back the tides so my archers have more time to fire. And the Star Dragon has not really had the time to go into the stuff that he really wants to, because he's been dealing with all those Warhounds and Marauders and stuff that routed into the High Elf back line and clear all that stuff up, terror routing them and dealing with that stuff. So even though he's gotten a couple good breath attacks in, really hasn't been sitting on top of Chosen with Grit Weapons and the other stuff, the high value stuff that a Star Dragon would really love to be munching on. So the problem is, right now, the infantry for the High Elves is severely depleted. There are some left. They have come back from routing in some instances, but the net will keep the Star Dragon from landing, and the Sisters about to get charged by both Sigvald, who moves like a vampire in this mod. He moves at, I think, like 60 speed. He is very quick, which I love. It's one of the things I wanted in Total War Warhammer from the beginning, that vampires and Sigvald and those movement 6 and movement 7 footlords should be moving very quickly. That would translate to about a little bit less than heavy cav speed, which is what he is in this mod. I really like that. Nice net going down. The problem is they can get into the Sisters as soon as that wears off, and they are going to. And with that very expensive elite tier armor-piercing bow unit getting shut down, things get very tough for the High Elves here. Star Dragon can land, but there are 2 units on the field, well, 3 really, that can be a pretty big problem for the Apex Predator in Warhammer, and that is the Summoners of Rage and the Chaos Knights. So they have a lot of bonus versus large options, a lot of AP options, and a lot of mobile options that can jump on it whenever it decides to land. And when you combine that with the Visions of Pleasure debuff and the net from Sigvald, things can get pretty scary even for a 2,500 gold unit like the Star Dragon. Now, Star Dragon and dragons in general, definitely more powerful in SFO Grimhammer than they are in vanilla. 650 weapon strength is amazing. He can trade into that for a while. He can tank it out for a while because he's got that 30% physical resist. But Tyrion also being swarmed by meat shields and bullcrap that he doesn't want to be fighting. He wants to be dueling Sigvald and trying to cut the head off the snake here. But Siggy's got Summoners of Rage and Chaos Knights as his bodyguard, and a Chaos Sorcerer as well. So that's a bit problematic, but you gotta plunge in there and gotta try to take out that leadership core, take out the Chaos Knights, take out the mobility, and then maybe we can bring this back. Things are looking bleak and dire. Tyrion gonna plunge in, and looks like a debuff going down on him. The net will pin him in place. The Chaos Knights can surround him. Star Dragon still doing well in terms of HP, and 650 weapon strength will seriously rack up some incredible damage very quickly. Mirror Guard, Chaos Knights dropping all around him, definitely making a huge impact here. Just an absolute monster. But with Tyrion that close to routing and dying, the Heart of Avalorn will proc, and he will get a bunch of HP back, but it's not going to be enough. Chaos is going to be able to take a relatively commanding lead in this game, and they will storm the field and take it. And those Waystones will not protect the souls of the Azure this day. They will be sent howling into the warp to be playthings of Slaanesh for all eternity. Feels bad, man. So, Chaos. Very strong in SFO Grimhammer. It's not one of those things like, I play multiplayer on this mod occasionally. There aren't enough people playing to give a perfect, concise tier list that would explain which factions are the best, which factions are the worst. I would say though, looking on paper at what Chaos has in SFO Grimhammer, I'd say they're one of the stronger factions in the game, and a lot of it revolves around the overhauls to the Legendary Lords. Sigvald, as a Footlord, needed a rework. He still needs a rework. When Chaos comes in Game 3, I imagine CA will delve back into him, rework that skill tree some more, rework how Footlords are done, hopefully before Warhammer 3 comes out. But he is incredibly powerful in this mod. I will say, I don't think, and this is not salt for me losing, I have no problem losing this game. Aracrastic is a great player, definitely better than myself. But I will say that I don't think Chaos needs a net. I think that that is absolutely designed around factions that are supposed to be glass cannons and mobile, and Chaos being so tanky and so powerful in other facets of the game, I don't think they need a net. So I think that ability, the Enchanting Beauty that pins a single unit in place, should only work on Lords or Heroes within like 10 meters of Sigvald. I think that would be a much fluffier, better representation of what Sigvald brings to the field. But everything else he brings, he's just super tanky, a lot of regen, great stats, and he's got more mass and more knockdown resistance, just like a lot of other Footlords in this mod. So He carried that game in a lot of ways, but the Gorby's Chariots killed a bunch of stuff too. The Summoners of Rage were used incredibly well. That retreat with the Marauders to force the Swordmasters into an awkward position, professionally done, and some really great plays from Aerocrastic managed to seal that one. I don't think I played horribly that game, but I definitely got outplayed, and Aerocrastic 100% deserved the win. So hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.